Good morning, traders, and this is your Aussie South African Top 40 day trade setup for today. So we've ended up with another spinning top, and just remember, just a recap from yesterday, we are at the 61.8 Fibonacci on the daily, which also coincides with the 200 EMA. So we haven't tested that level again, and I would expect another test of this area. Now, the fact that we have another indecision bar, so this was the first range bar, now we have another range bar. So we've had two range days in a row. And if you look at the 3 hour, pretty much for this week, so we started off, we down to the 3 hour 200 EMA, and we're back. The question right now is, are we testing the alligator? Okay, so this fractal here, to me, at the level there, which is pretty much the low of yesterday, and we get a break through that, I'd expect at least another attempt at the 200 EMA on the daily. So kind of test these lows again. Not that I would hold on for longer than that. We'd have to wait and see. I expect it to get here, then bounce around a bit before breaking through, if it does break through. So at this stage, we have, on the 3 hour, we've got range bar, range bar, range bar, range bar. Okay, this last one is nonsense data. Yeah, so that's not a valid bar. So the last, pretty much the whole day, was range bound. Okay, and when you look at the hour, you'll see a little bit of a clearer picture. Total confusion. Okay, now if we look at what's going on here, we are below the alligator on the hour as well. The big question here is, are we testing the alligator for a move to the downside, or are we just hovering on the 200 EMA? This purple line, the 200 EMA. Oscillator here is saying that the trend has potentially changed. We are still in a negative trend, but it is coming up to the zero line, which is indicating that the trend could possibly have changed. Yeah, it's pretty difficult to call. Even though we could have taken a long gap here for a scalp to 200 points or so out of it. But I think yesterday this is just a signal of confusion. So what you want to do here is a couple of things. So the first thing that did work out would have been the closing range. So the last hour of trading, the height of those two bars, there's a range targets, and we actually went through to the next level as well. Problem is we gapped up there, so it wouldn't have been much of a trade. The retest here would have given you a long and back to the range target. Okay, so that's pretty much all that we had yesterday. Now, today, the closing range strategy is not something that I'd be wanting to trade, because it's 140 points, so I suppose it's not too bad. But look at the hour and the half hour are below the 200 EMA at the moment, and we're just going sideways. So my advice today is pick up your fractals. I'm using the half hour at the moment. That is my range, and the fractals coincide with the range. Okay, so that's the last two fractals. This one to the top, this one to the bottom. So what you're looking for is a break and close of 53.6 to the downside to get you more downside, and a break of 56.38 to get you a move to the upside. Now, market was anticipating a pretty intelligent speech from Donald Trump last night. That didn't materialize, so there's still no news on no conclusion coming up for the trade war at the moment. So I think, yeah, you probably expect more of the same. There's not much happening unless some news comes out that changes. So things at the moment. At the moment, we have the rand dollar at 14.92, and we have 10 cent that is down. No, it's not down, it's flat. 10 cent is flat. Hang Seng is down 1.3%. The US futures market is down 0.3%, although they all three closed pretty flat as well. Oh yeah, I think we're in need of a catalyst, and I don't think we have that catalyst. Okay, just looking for another fractal. This is not a fractal here, so I would work on the half hour. Just move that a little bit closer. So those are the two levels that we need to watch. Okay, so break through the range of yesterday to the upside or the downside, and that's going to give you a trade. Just bear in mind you've got a gap to the downside. There's the gap. Remember, this bar here is a nonsense bar. So there's our gap close here. Gap close to the downside is pretty much 5248. That would bring in a double top. So I would be, any break of that would be fairly interesting. And then you've got a downward trend line here. So I'd expect a flat open, possibly a little bit of a move to downside to find some support. So the gap would be interesting, and the other part of this would be a move back down to sort of test the lows here. Okay, so this pretty much this level here of 5108 or 5100 where we've already bounced off. So all I'm looking for is another bit of a pullback, consolidation, hold a level, and start moving to the upside. That'll give me a trade, a long entry with a stop below here. Just be cautious because we are through the alligator, and it does look kind of like we're rejecting the alligator at the moment as well. So this could fall beyond this level here. So you're going to have to watch price action fairly carefully to see what's going on. Okay, let's just get to the ichimoku, and we'll run through that from the 12 up. Okay, so we had a decent break above the cloud, and normally when you see that you expect a retest of the cloud. We had a retest of the cloud here, but we also had a gap. And remember, I often say this, don't focus on the gap, focus on the levels first, then the gap. And that was the level. That was the previous fractal, and you can see it's exactly where the buyer stepped in, leaving the gap intact. There's a gap down there. Okay, so that's a daily gap. That's first level. So, a lot of people trade the gap. Nothing wrong with it. I'm just saying focus on the level first, take your profit on the level, and then you have another opportunity later to target the gap. Now that that level's been tagged, the next level would be the gap to the downside. Okay, where we are at the moment is we've got a green cloud. Chicken span is inside price, and we have a bullish cross here, but we're flat. Nothing really reading into that at the moment. 30 minutes, look how thick the cloud is. That shows you how much resistance is in this area. So I expect that we're going to, the probability, the higher probability is the downside. This is a bounce off the cloud. So take the fractal breaks, and you're looking for an entry to the downside. The drawback here is chicken span is through price. We've got a bullish cross here. Okay, and we are getting a thinning cloud that's coming together. So now I could wait for the pullback. Watch what happens with Kijinson and Tekinson. If they stay in this area and Tekinson doesn't roll to come crossover, and bear in mind a cross below the cloud is fairly bearish. So if it stays like this and we drop down, come and close the gap, find our feet, and start moving back the upside, it'll validate an entry to the long side. Okay, if we look at the hour, we've had a bullish cross here. Okay, but that's all. We've got a very thick cloud, and we've also got sort of the chicken span that's not through price. And I think the other thing that you can take cognizance of here is the fact that we have a bit of a triangle consolidation yesterday. Okay, so Anything can happen with it. It can break the downside, break the upside, but it does look like we're trying to move us back to the upside. We're trying to bounce off a 61.8. Okay, this is the troublesome one at the moment. So we've got a bearish cross. We have got a bearish breakthrough price here for Chico Span. Okay, the cloud is green, and then which is bullish. So we've got two bearish and one bullish, and then we have a flat Kijunsen, and Kijunsen is running away. So we've got diversions. Normally, when I see this, I'm waiting for Kijunsen to roll up. Let's see if we can find an example quickly. Doesn't look like there was one recently. Oh, here's something here. So you can see flat Kijunsen, and then Kijunsen runs away, and then Kijunsen tends to roll back up towards it. Okay, so, and that normally happens at a turning point. And we are sort of on the cloud here, the 4-hour cloud. Okay, cloud to the downside is pretty weak, so kind of cautious. And if you look at the tails here on the 4-hour, that is telling you a story: sellers, 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 and then a few buys. Okay, I think I'm still inclined to believe another move, another push to the downside. The big question is whether it is just to come test the 200 EMA down here again, or whether it is an attempt to break through. Okay, when we look at the daily, everything is bullish. Okay, but as I've been saying most of this week, is we can still move all the way down to the cloud here and it's still bullish. Okay, so at this stage we are bouncing off Kijunsen. We are coming into the buying area at the moment. So I'm kind of looking for longs here. Okay, but coming back to the lower time frame, let's do that on the hour. V reversals are rare, and this little structure here is a bit of a V reversal. And if we just look at price action itself, so that's inside bar, then we have sort of an engulfing bar, but then we have a proper engulfing bar. I mean, the buyer steps in here properly. Okay, and that was Monday. Tuesday, they've like been hovering around and been confused, but we have broken through. We haven't broken through Kijunsen at the moment, so we're still trying to get through Kijunsen, but we haven't got across. So it wouldn't surprise me to see us come back down. We've got a gap here, so that would be my first target. We have another gap over there. So in between 52.49 and 50, let's just say 50,000. This is the Aussie. That's where I would be looking for price action to indicate a move to the upside. And I'm going to find that on the 12-minute chart. Okay, so you can see in my levels here, I'm looking for this kind of price action where you start going sideways, and then you can sort of draw your range bars and then take the break to the upside of a fractional level. So all that I would have been doing is, with this move to the downside, I know this is the area we're looking to target. As soon as the first fractional is in, I'm looking for a close above it. I don't get a close above it. Creates another fractional, moves down, creates another fractional, moves down. There's my close above the fractional. That's my signal. We need to be long. It's off a level, and my stop is below the lower fractional. Okay, that's kind of what I'm looking for. I'm just looking for this to come back into this zone here. Okay, anyway guys, that's my view. And if it doesn't get back down to here, same principle applies. I'm looking for break above this fractional here. We get a 12-minute close above 56.26. That's going to validate a long, and I should have a fractional down the bottom here by the open for a stop area. Okay, that's my view today. Hope it helps, and I'll catch you later. Cheers for now.